Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in this video, we're going to talk about our friend up north there, Mr. Trudeau, and yes, his agenda that he continues to carry on with. This was covered a few places. Here's one, anti5g.net. It's the same article here, really, but um, this is coming everywhere. Maybe it's starting in Canada, but this will be rolled out because this is the New World Order agenda, and Trudeau definitely is the New World Order. It says the Canadian government is setting the stage for imposing World Economic Forum's client compliance agenda with massive infrastructure and legion climate pollution officers. So, yeah, no, that's very interesting. The Canadian government is building a sprawling new facility that will feature a firearms armory, interrogation rooms, biological lab, media relation offices, controlled quiet rooms, and intelligence hubs to beef up climate enforcement. Here's the blueprint, some of the blueprints. Yeah, the firearm storage. Mr. Castro Jr., they say, who doesn't allow his citizens to have guns, is now has a firearm storage for climate compliance. Oh, okay, that's interesting. And as this article asks here, why do you need right here? And why would a climate enforcement facility need controlled quiet rooms? Right there, a controlled quiet room. That's very interesting. So it says the Canadian government appears to be hiring a battalion of climate pollution officers, an enforcement arm of the Orwellian sounding Environmental Enforcement Directive. That's just scary stuff. This comes in tandem with the passage of recent legislation granting sweeping powers to law enforcement to impose climate compliance. Now, this is the man who, right here in October 24th, 2019, so just about 3 years ago, this was really the first time I kind of really hit up Trudeau to lead the world with actual real solutions that would get the world, you know, actually solving problems without tyranny involved and just simple cooperation when you educate people, ending global environmental illiteracy, when you get them to, end their disposable society. Now, Trudeau's implementing things, but it's just ending disposable plastic. He still has a completely disposable single-use society. And the solution is not the heavy arm of the federal government and climate compliance. It's just simply to have a society that isn't disposable, that's just reusable like we used to have. We didn't have environmental problems when we were a reusable society. And gaining individual cooperations, how about hemp? Do you ever hear him talking about hemp? No. Just things that he can, follow the World Economic Forum's agenda with all of the young global leaders, and when they can just, come down on the citizens with the heavy arm of the government. And Canada's getting on board that. They don't want to be left out, I guess. They were too quiet and peaceful up there for a long time, and their people got to just live in peace. But apparently, no more. The Impact Assessment Act, which was quietly passed in the final days of Trudeau's majority government, grants sweeping power to the ministerial enforcement officers, but until now, little has been explained about where and how climate police will be deployed. And I don't really think that they still know about how and where they'll be deployed, except that they will be being deployed. And Yeah, look, they have an intelligence room. I'll tell you what, if governments actually had an intelligence room, maybe they would do something smart. But it says that the climate police may enter any project location that affects the environment to take photographs, assess computer systems and communication directives, and direct any person to put any machinery, vehicle, or equipment in the place into operation or to cease operating it. The climate police may also prohibit access to the location entirely. So sounds like they have a lot of power. Such an agenda would require well-funded infrastructure like this Winnipeg facility to carry out the extreme climate policies, such as fertilizer reduction initiatives. Right, Trudeau's been going after that. I've been meaning to do a video about it. Yeah, he's going after farmers and the nitrogen that they use for fertilizer because you can't just let people do their job. It says here, in fact, Trudeau announced that fertilizer use in Canada must be reduced by at least 30%. Oh, in accordance with, of course, the people who, like James O'Keefe, think they're God over at the World Economic Forum and their policies. Who is Klaus Schwab to be setting policies for countries? Nobody. Nobody. Except that people like Trudeau, who is caught up in his web for whatever reasons, potentially including, like an Epstein type of sting, where, yeah, Trudeau not only is daddy, a dictator, but, we've got these goods on you. I don't know, but how do you get people to go along with this and then go and impose madness? Yeah, it seems to me that the Epstein agenda has been working pretty well across the world to get people to do whatever people like Klaus Schwab want. It says the government appears to be gearing up to crack down on businesses and individuals who violate the WEF linked climate policies meant to deindustrialize the West in the name of saving Earth. So that's pretty much bull, because if Trudeau had any interest in saving Earth, and it's not saving Earth, Earth will survive. Okay, Earth's climate has changed many, many, many times over its 4.5 billion years. Okay, it's humans whose life is dependent upon the current climate that might be in jeopardy. Okay, people don't understand that. It's a very fine balance, the climate that we have today. Because, yeah, people are like, oh, the poles have been warmer, global warming doesn't matter. Well, I'll tell you what, if the poles get warmer, yeah, okay, eventually you'll be able to live at the poles, but the transition period and the unsettled weather and events that will happen when our current climate changes to, a climate that is tropical at the poles is going to be catastrophic. And humans may not survive or survive in very limited numbers. So it's not saving Earth. Earth will restore itself. Maybe, a nuclear annihilation will take a very, very long time, but Earth has it. It's got another 5 billion years or so. So it's not about saving Earth, and Trudeau isn't about being good for the people. Because if he was, like every other environmental leader and environmental voice that has refused the solutions the world needs since November of '93, Trudeau would have stepped up to the plate. Canadian stadiums could have led with reusable stadium concessions. All of Canada could have led. Canada could have been the first to end its global environmental illiteracy. They could have got hemp utilized everywhere. But is Trudeau on board with that? No. No, 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 no. That's not part of Daddy Klaus Schwab's agenda. So Trudeau is really stepping things up there north of us, and that this isn't going to just end north of us. that this is coming for everywhere because this is their agenda. They just want to stamp down on the people no matter what excuse they use for doing it. And we don't need climate police. We just need logical, sensible solutions. We need to go back to a day when living like when we didn't have environmental problems. And that really was, before a disposable society. But this is kind of, I'm guessing, the shape of things to come. And it's very scary. And it made some headlines just recently. This is August 24th. And Trudeau, I'm sure, is very proud of himself. And the Canadian people are going to be as happy with this as Americans are once those 87,000 armed IRS agents start showing up in their living rooms and in their small businesses. And the New World Order, Klaus Schwab and friends, they don't care. They're happy to destabilize us. And so long as people go along with this and people let this go on, things are going to get very scary out there, and it's not going to end at the Canadian border. And remember, um, our friend up there, Justin Castro, is that his name? He has absolutely no interest. This is S. Shepard, the executive correspondence office for the Prime Minister's office. That, yeah, just couldn't be happier to let me know that Justin Trudeau has no real interest in real environmental solutions, but he will be happy to bring the climate police force to your door. So stay tuned, people.